Yeah, good morning everyone. And today we'll be discussing about backend APIs and what and why. Okay, this is the main topic for today. So, so in last session we have discussed about HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and we created multiple HTML pages and how the forms will work. And we have used a couple of AI tools to create this HTML content and all, and how one is linked with another one, and what is meant by what are the different types of CSS style sheets available in current industry, and how we can use them. Okay, how you can use JavaScript in HTML page. Okay, we gone through like multiple things. So based on that, you will get some clarity on how you can work on the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. That is the main thing. Okay, and coming to today's session, right? We'll be discussing about APIs. APIs are nothing but application programming interface. Okay, APIs are nothing but application programming interface. Why APIs? Or what is meant by API? Okay, basically, for example, let me give with an example with a restaurant. Okay, restaurant, what will happen, right? The food will be prepared in kitchen, and there will be multiple. There will be starters, soups, and also main course, and also we'll have curries, everything. So all are there in kitchen, and how you can access those dishes, or how you can access each and everything from the outside. For example, you are a third person to that particular restaurant. How will get to know there is something is available? There is something available to eat in that particular restaurant. How will get to know? How will get to know? Only thing is menu. Menu is the key. So in menu, we will having all the details starting from, okay, these are veg curries and these are non-veg, and these are like this is the main course, this is biryani, this is the right item, this is the pulao item. Okay, these kind of items, all the details will be available in menu. So what user will do? User is nothing but a customer who come to that particular restaurant. What he will do? He will go through the menu, okay, and he will select a specific item from that menu, and he will place an order. So before placing order, he don't touch any of these items, and he never tasted any of these items. Okay, he just look at the menu and he thinks that will be the good for him, and he will place an order. So once he placed an order, waiter waiter is the one here. Okay, what waiter will do? Waiter will take that request and go to kitchen, and he will say, okay, this is the order, just complete that one. Okay, so if you go in depth, right? See, we are using a restaurant example. Here we will having a menu. So menu is the dish that what you can order, and the request format is how to order. How to order is like there are some multiple cases. Like you can directly say to that waiter, like, I need this particular item, or in some other cases there will be in a QR code scanning. So once you scan, you can select from their websites. So the what waiter will do, waiter takes the order and he will go to the kitchen. Okay, waiter is the one who takes your order and go to that kitchen and brings back your food. So here you are giving a request using waiter, and you are getting response as a food. So basically what we need to understand, right? What is the request? What is the response? That's you need to understand. And here he is mentioning you don't need to know how the kitchen cooks the food, just how to use the menu. So for example, you want to order biryani, you don't need to know how to cook biryani recipe and all. Okay, you just need to know how you can place an order. That's the same case for any item. What you need to do, go to menu, select your particular thing and request. So what waiter will do, he will take that request and go to that kitchen, and he will find that particular item in that kitchen and he will come back. So what are the different things are involved is creating a request, that is nothing but from menu, and the request will be handled by your waiter, and he will take that request to backend. Backend is nothing but kitchen, and he comes back with a response saying like this is an item. Okay, that is the entire process, right? If you see that request and response, that particular thing, right? This is can be is the main pillar for any API. Okay, so for example, maybe we already using couple of APIs. Okay, we'll be discussing that, and these are the 5 things. One is why APIs are important. Okay, first thing is enabling communication. Okay, APIs allows a different system to communicate easily. For example, here we are discussing about, right, there are like 3 systems here. One is our customer, and second one is waiter, and third one is kitchen. All 3 are connected using this particular API. Okay, so that's why enabling communication is the main thing for an API. So what API is doing, right? It is communicating one to another, another to another, another to another, and finally they are getting response back to the requester. That's why enabling the communication is an important thing. And then modularity. For example, see, you're ordering from the waiter. Maybe you don't know, waiter will go to their kitchen, or he will consult any other kitchens nearby, and he is getting the order. At the end of the day, what you will do, right? Okay, I got this biryani. That's what you will think about. You don't worry about who is the backend. For example, you place an order with one particular waiter. Maybe a waiter two will come and take from that kitchen, and he will give it to you. Maybe waiter 3 will next he will serve. Maybe waiter 4 will clean your clothes and all. Clothes nothing but the table and all. So modularity is nothing but you don't bother about who is working for you. Okay, just like for example, you are placing an order in Rapido. Sorry, not Rapido, Zomato. Okay, Zomato you place an order. Maybe today one Vamsi will guy pick that order and give it to you, and tomorrow there will be some Raka will come and pick your order. So different people will work for you. That's why modularity is like it's allow developers to build systems in pieces. What do you mean by pieces? So each and every request will be one piece. For example, let me share my screen. So we can have multiple pieces here. You can have multiple pillars. I mean, each is one piece. So what is the first one? First one is customer placing an order. Okay. I mean, placing an order is nothing but just he is requesting for specific thing order. So next thing is like waiter takes that order, let it be, and waiter to kitchen. See, so this is a simple process in waiter. So how it is going? So first you are the customer. So you place an order. Once order got placed, waiter takes that request or the order and he will go to the next stage to kitchen. So again, once kitchen, everything will be built. So all things will be built here. I mean, they will create that particular recipe. Okay, so the recipe got created, everything is done. Now he will again send that back to customer. So here if you see, right, for example, um, we can have order can be anything. Order is one piece. Waiter to kitchen. Waiter taking that order to kitchen. It will be one piece. So it will be like multiple pieces. So here you can use some QR code or waiter takes that order, and how waiter takes the order from that particular location to another location. He can use walkie-talkie or he can use some website to place an order inside internal system, or he can say, I need two samosa, I need two paratha. Maybe he could just shout it out at the kitchen and they will prepare that order. So there will be multiple ways. So, and waiter to kitchen, like creating an order, they maybe have multiple restaurants at the back end, okay, to complete this particular activity. Maybe that particular person, right? Maybe, I mean, that waiter or who is working on that particular day, he can go to one person and he can get that order. Anything can happen. And finally, customer to, I mean, kitchen to customer. You can directly get that order. Okay, I mean to say, like, he directly take the waiter takes that order and come to the customer, or he will, maybe there will be train restaurants coming up. Maybe he will place it somewhere and that will deliver to the customer. Maybe customer opted for parcel. Maybe that is another choice. So these are different ways he can deliver that particular item. So basically what we are discussing here, right? Here modularity. So there will be no dependencies on each system. There will be dependency, but there is no dependency who is working on system and how they will work. That's there completely. If you go to the regular shop in our local, I mean on road shop, right? If you place an order, he just say, ready to bring to dosas and all. He just mouth. I mean, he just say word and he will prepare it. Maybe there is some cases where they will first you need to take token, okay, from one place, and the token will be given to this particular person, and that particular person creates it and he will deliver that item. So another time, like another way is like you just sitting or somewhere and waiter comes to you, and there will be another case you will be sitting somewhere, there will be waiting item, again you have to go and you have to get your food and all. So there are multiple ways the systems can be designed. In the same way, APIs can be independently, we can build each and every API and all APIs can be integrated. That's the use of modularity. And reusability. A single backend service can provide data and functionality to multiple front ends, web, mobile apps, and services. A single backend service, meaning you just create a one service. That service is a calculator. Okay, just imagine that service is calculator. So what it will do, right? If you send 5 items, it will calculate. If you send 20, 30, 20, 30, 20, then it will calculate and say 120 rupees. Okay. In the same way, that calculator with API can be used by multiple people. Okay. Maybe that used by a restaurant and that used by some, what do you call, some product company and all. They want some APIs to be calculated. So they can use that calculator API. So these kind of APIs, right, they will be very reusable. And for example, here we take an order like in a daily, I mean daily like normal regular, you went to restaurant and all. Maybe they can, if you think this is like an API, We have online apps. Zomato is there, Swiggy is there, and maybe Uber Eats. So we'll be having like multiple online apps, right? Any app can place this particular order. It will go like this. He places an order. Again, somebody will kicks in and somebody will prepare a food and somebody ready to deliver. Again, that order will give it to that particular delivery boy. So here, one, maybe like 1, 2, 3, 4. Now 2, 3, 4 are reusable in Swiggy case. Maybe in Zomato case, same thing. In Zomato also there will be similar thing happen. You will place an order, it will go like this and it will come like this again back to deliver. If you go to Uber Eats, that will be the same pace. So basically we are reusing all the 2, 3, 4 APIs, different APIs here, maybe blocks. And then we have innovation. Innovation is nothing but see, now everyone doing the manual job here, the food preparation and all. Just maybe there is a one company or one restaurant, it's automated everything. It just takes an order. The robot will takes care of getting the reading that order to someone, and another robot will takes care of waiting, creating kitchen, and another one give customers back. So it's allow third-party developers to build new applications or features on top of existing services. For example, some people are delivering using the walkie-talkies. Okay, internal restaurant they are discussing everything on walkie-talkies. So maybe another restaurants look at this. Okay, look at those options. Okay, they are having like these kind of options. They can use walkie-talkie. And how about creating a app? That app, right? If they click on book now, it will send a request to next team saying like there is a request came from table number 17, and then somebody prepare the food in table numbers first. I mean, somebody prepare food for table number 17, and you will click another button. So somebody they, I mean, some waiter will come and pick that particular item and send back to that particular customer who is sitting on table number 17. Okay, those kind of innovations, right, can be done at each and every block level. Okay, for example, we are having a Twitter API and Google Maps API, and we have some other APIs. ChatGPT, we have an API. Everyone using the same API, but they are building different applications. Okay, that's where innovation kicks up. So each maybe this API will be the same, but they're storing couple of details in the background, and here they are giving a historical data of number of requests per each day and all. So those kind of things will happen only when you are using an API. And the final one, efficiency. Avoid rebuilding the same functionality multiple times. For example, there is a functionality to take an order. You don't need to build it again. The same order can be used for multiple other things. It may be restaurant, or it may be your product delivery goods, or it may be anything. The same thing will customer will come and he will select a product and order. It may be a food item, or it may be a electronic item, or it may be a perishable goods. That you no need to worry. The same API can be used everywhere. That's why more efficiency will come when you are going with an API. So now we're going to completely into technical now, and we don't give an examples like restaurant and all. So basic idea is like APIs, application programming interface. So it's a simple interface to connect multiple blocks. Okay, it may be just now we have discussed about restaurant. That may be same thing works for Amazon APIs, so that you can develop different applications using that API. And for example, ChatGPT, Open AI, and they will also provide an API. You can build different applications using that particular URLs and API. So there are multiple cases where you can use API effortlessly. Okay. And introduction to REST APIs. REST API. REST stands for Representational State Transfer. So basically nowadays people mostly using REST service because it is lightweight and it supports multiple formats and you can throw it anywhere, like it will work flawlessly. You can create a REST applications using a simple integration services. Like you can use create it very easily. You can create with Java. You can create a simple REST service easily. In the same way, you can use some Python code to create REST service. Okay, let me judge. Okay, an architectural style for designing networked applications in set of constraint not a strict protocol. So REST API is very easy to develop. There are no much in what you call constraints like instructions. This request should be on this particular line. Request should comes from this particular time. Not many constraints, but you can deliver the goods using REST service very faster and easy. And also, why REST is simple, right? Resource data or objects that the API provides across a user, product, order. Each resource has a unique identifier, a URL. So, for example, this will be done. Let me put this. So there will be itvisor.com. See, this is how, for example, somebody created REST service in itvisor.com. It will looks like this: itvisor.com slash. Maybe that is the REST service endpoint v1. Endpoint for v1 for what? V1 plus this order. That is the v1. And maybe there is another endpoint where v1 process. So there is another endpoint where we like deliver. See, website is same, but they are having a multiple APIs. This is the one API 1, API 2, API 3. 1, 2, 3. All are using same website. Maybe until now the path is also same endpoint. The path is also same. Until V1 everything is same. Only the process, place order, and delivery is going to change. So maybe if I am developing an API, right, what I will make sure this particular, right, I will keep everything as a static until V1 or maybe until V endpoint. Okay, I will make it as a static and last this particular values, right, these values I will be dynamically updating based on my request. So while sending a request, right, if the request comes here, right, that will be like placing an order. If request coming to process, that will be processing that particular request, and the final one is deliver. So that is like delivering the goods. But while doing this particular request, right, there are like multiple methods. So each API will have multiple methods, just like multiple methods in the sense, for example, you are using an API in where you call okay. I'm just giving looking for one real-time example. Okay, there is a store. Okay, in that store you went there and basically you want to buy a couple of chains. Okay, so Gnaneshwar went into the store and he's asking Lohit like I need 10 chairs. Okay, 10 chairs I need. So the request will be like he's posting a request or getting a request. Can you choose any one of them here? What is Gnaneshwar is doing here? He's retrieving data from source or he is posting data. How will you get to know, right? Simply, he is taking childs from that particular store, right? So he is retrieving something from that particular store. So he should send a get request. So in that get request, he should say, I need 5 items of childs. They are from Neil Kamal or something. So the store owner Lohit, what he will do, right? He will retrieve those childs and he will give it to Gnaneshwar. And the next one is post. Create a new resource. Maybe they are selling chairs from past 5 years. Now they want to introduce tools as well. So basically, if that is the case, you that request will be like post. So you will be going and post saying like, why don't you create a chase? So these are the chase we have. So he will create one more request saying like, create a new resource. I need a new chairs in your store. You go another way, right? For example, you are using Google Drive. In Google Drive, you are uploading a file that is nothing but a post request. So you are uploading a new file into the Google Drive, that is a post request. But you are reading a file from Google Drive, that is a get request. And the next request is a put, P-U-T. So updating an existing record or resource, or you may replace entirely. So those can be done using a put request. So if I am updating anything, right, I need edit access as well. So updating anything, that is the put request. And patch, update an existing resource partially. So you just adding something and removing something, these kind of things are happening. That request we call it as patch. And delete, remove a resource. Removing any resource from your Google Drive, you're removing a file or something, that can be used as a delete. So these requests, there are multiple types. We have like get, post, put, patch, and delete. So basically that can be used for CRUD applications. If you remember, CRUD is nothing but create, read, update, delete. For these operations, we need multiple requests. These nothing but a methods, standard actions to perform on resources. So these are the methods we have. The methods will be like get, post, put, patch, delete. Mostly used ones will be like get and post. Getter and setter methods you will have, right? In the same way, we call it as get, put, and post. These three methods will be widely used for any API. Okay. Stateless. See, requests don't have any state. It is active or anything. Request will go from one location to another location, just like an order. In the same way, here API request. So we are going to slowly using actual terms. We call it as API request. When you're sending an API request to some service, that service will take that particular request and it will verify few of the options. What are the things it is having? What is the method it is calling? What is the REST service endpoint it is calling? So what is the content it is having? It having a valid content? These kind of validations will be done on that particular request. And then they will send response back to the client. So you have to remember a few points here. Request, response, client, server, HTTP methods. What else? Request, response, client, server, HTTP methods, processing that request, maybe routing the request. Just remember these words, okay? They are all are self-explanatory and you can use whenever it's needed. So stateless, they are saying like each request from client to server must contain all the information needed to understand the request. See, basically I came here and asked for 10 chairs. My request should be very clear. 10 chairs from Neil Kamal on this particular day and this particular time. So each request, each API request should have all the details it's needed. The server doesn't store information about previous requests from the client. It's not 99% true. There are some cases your server will maintain set of requests. Maybe they will remember for last 10 requests for that particular client. So for example, whenever I went to one particular location, I placed one order. They may have my last 10 transactions there and they will be storing it. But if there is any API that constantly serving like 24 by 7 working, and if you store the data while coming from requester, that takes burden on your server and service. So that's not a good practice. But when people really need the data as well, maybe the transactions which are very valuable, then they will store those transactions as well. So that's why, for example, when you go with any petrol bunk or somewhere and you will swipe up your card, so all the transactions will be stored somewhere in the internet saying like this particular person taken petrol on that particular day. Maybe go to Amazon or Flipkart, all the transactions will be stored there. But how much extent? They may be storing for 10 years, maybe 5 years, 2 years. That's all depends, but they're storing it. If they don't store, what people will do, right? They will just place an order and say like they already paid for the particular transaction and they will collect money from Amazon. Those things will happen. Maybe Zomato. You place an order, you place a cash on delivery order. So there is no transaction stored in the server. They don't know when they placed order, why we are creating this order and all. Then that's total mess up. Then they don't have that particular order details in their website. So that is an issue. That's why the server doesn't store information about previous requests from the client. That may happen or may not be happen. So you have to be both the ways. URL structure, we just define that URLs, right? There will be different URLs saying like itwiser.com slash maybe user creating a product. So that we call it as a service URI. There is two differences things. One is URL and URI. Let's read about these two things. What is meant by URL and what is meant by URI. This is important things. Okay, just go over internet and try to search for what is an URL and what is an URI. Another one, data formats. Okay, we'll discuss data formats very normally. Like we having like multiple data formats. The formats will be. This is a very okay. So JSON currently used by widely used by enterprises and all, but things got changed rapidly nowadays. Things like image format, video format, maybe the PDF format, PNG, WebP, MP3 format. We are having a multiple formats, and each different services which will work with different types of formats. JSON standardly used by everyone. JSON is nothing but JavaScript object notation. Why it is widely used? JSON is lightweight and the store the data in structured way, and there is no predefined ones. So there are some other advantages as well for the JSON. And the same way we'll have a CSV, comma separated values or tab delimited values, and we have like what do you call? Mm. Some people will use Excel files as an input, and some people will use CSV files as an input. So we'll having a different data formats. So basically, basic structure of JSON, we'll get to know that in soon. Okay, let me open one simple JSON file, W3 schools. So go to W3 schools today after this session and go to somewhere JSON. Is there here? Should be, yeah. See, this is a simple JSON file where we are having like this one, objects, key value pairs. Nothing but this is the key and this is the value. This is the key and this is the value. And then what we'll have arrays. This is an array. If you see, right, employees is an array. Inside an employees array, we have like multiple items. 1, 2, 3, 4. John is one item, Anna is one item, Peter is one item inside that particular thing. You can compare objects, key value pairs enclosed in curly braces. So here first name is enclosed in a curly brace and they like dictionaries or maps. If you compare with maps in Java, this is the object and this is the key. Maybe both can be strings and both can be numbers and all. You can have different things, okay? Values can be anything. You can store whatever you needed in JSON and you can use it whenever it's needed. And we have arrays in JSON. Arrays is nothing but, for example, if you are storing multiple types of information, like you want to store multiple employees information, then you will go with these arrays. This can be called as a JSON. This particular block can be called as JSON. JSON main thing is there will be object, key and values. That is the main thing in JSON. But if you want to place multiple objects and keys inside one particular root element, right, then you will go with this particular array to store that particular JSON format. Okay. People will call name and value pairs. Some people will call object and key. Data is separated by commas. If you see here, all the data, this particular one separated by comma here. And curly braces hold the objects. So this is nothing but objects and values, name and value pairs. And square brackets hold the arrays. See, that's the base skill notation. If whenever you see square brackets, right, that means they are having multiple elements or items inside that. Okay, that's a simple JSON file. And then we have like HTTP status codes. So for example, you are hitting a web service like facebook.com/. See, the content is not available at the time. Maybe if you see the page resource, how you get to know. Okay. Let's see, I'm adding an URL .com and request. Okay, sorry. Here I got the response. In header tag, if you see this one, 200 is nothing but good. There is no issue. But if you give something like this, and request 404 not found because that particular request is not available. And save it. Not found. That is also not available. Google.com and I will check for something. I'm going to mail account. I'm trying to run this URL now. Still request is in processing. So basically, main intention is like we're having like multiple status codes. If code starts with 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 1, 0, 4, anything under 1, that is like information. It's just sharing information. So here we got 200, right? Nothing but it's a success format. 200 is like okay. 201 is like created. You can read about these codes. Different status code represent different things to be in different response. If it is a 200, that is a valid response. If it is something related to 300, then it is a redirection. Maybe that URL redirect to some other way. In the same way, 400. If you see any 400, that is a bad request. 401 unauthorized, 403 forbidden, and 404, that is not found. That is whenever you hit some wrong URLs, right? We will usually get 404. If there is any issue internally, they will represent like a 500 internal server error. If you see, right, this.com. See, could not resolve the host name. The error code is like 1006. So that will be like informational. So you can understand multiple error codes. So based on that, you can create user responses. See, for example, there is a 401 error, 404 error. You cannot say here Facebook what it is giving, the content isn't available at the moment. But this is the 404 error. But they're not saying there is a 404 error because that's too technical. But what user want, right? They want proper information. So whenever I got a 404 not found, I need to display this particular page. When I got 302 page, 300 something, I need to display one particular page. So those kind of things will happen. Man and SOPA, there are different tools. We'll be trying that in later stage. But for now, just remember, just try to install Postman in SOPA. Tomorrow we'll have that session and where we'll go through that how you can call the APIs. Okay, sorry. Another way, right? Postman is nothing but these kind of tool where we can test both REST and SOAP APIs using the tools. Currently, we are using this particular tool, right? Similarly, Postman will look the same way, but it will have more advanced options and all. Maybe SOAP also with advanced with you can create multiple requests and all. Okay, those kind of things you can do using the Postman or SOAP. Give it a try. Just try to install Postman or SOAP and try to hit different services. You will get 404, 200, okay, those kind of responses. Just now we got it here. Okay, now APIs in the corporate workflow. Okay, Lohit, until then, you have any questions?
No, sir.
Questions, nothing?
Yes, listening first time this all.
Oh, great. Okay, okay.
Just
Yeah.
HTTP request only I listen actually.
So, what is meant by response? Okay, maybe let me know like what is the first one word you heard for the first time? What is the one word you hear for the first time?
Yes, sir. API concept actually.
Okay, you don't know about API before. Okay.
Yes.
So now what is an API?
Yes, sir. It's like a restaurant theme. Once the order request is raised, na, then the order request goes to kitchen, and after that processing, the kitchen will response to customer like that.
Okay, can you say what is meant by API in a simple one?
Uh, like example, sir.
I mean, if you say that what is an API in simple terms, what is an API?
It's a bridge between application and back end, and goes to and coming back to front end.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, API is the bridge between all these services which you are building. Okay, for example, login. Login, if you create like an API, okay, login functionality you created like an API. So that login functionality can be used by your mobile application and your web application and maybe iOS or Android or maybe a simple website you are creating. So anything can be used. Okay. So that's why API is very important. So it is the bridge the gap between two different services. Maybe service, maybe anything. Maybe you are placing an order to Amazon. For example, there are some websites where you can use Google sign in. You ever used Google sign in?
Yes, sir.
So
Mobile application.
what you will do, just click on that particular button and you will try to log in through either your mobile device or web or anything. So basically here what happens, right? There is a something called OAuth authentication that from Google and you can use for Go OAuth using Google sign in or Twitter sign in, LinkedIn sign in. All these sign-ins can be used using that OAuth functionality. So basically, somebody created an login functionality where they need to provide one secret and one client ID. So that's it. Just say that option. So you directly use that login API without doing much other things. So, for example, I want to connect with like 100 different things. Okay. For example, I'm trying to use Google Sign. Okay, simply I can place Google Secret and Google Client ID there, and if you save it right, so directly connect using Google. Maybe on tomorrow I need a LinkedIn sign-in option. That's the same way. LinkedIn also provide in some codes. I can use the codes here, so I can directly connect using LinkedIn API. So using these APIs, right, our life will be easy. For example, OpenAI. OpenAI also provided API. You can directly integrate that OpenAI API in your mobile or in your web application easily. So basically, API bridges the gaps between different services. Okay. So what is the corporate workflow? Just maybe go to ChatGPT and try to just copy paste these and on top of that ask a couple of questions. Okay. Save it somewhere. Okay, I just shared in chat, just copy it and share it somewhere. So first thing is like how front-end developers use APIs built by the backend developers. Yeah, this is one interesting question because whenever somebody provide an API, backend developers don't know what that API really do, so where they will maintain everything. Just ask ChatGPT or Google how front-end developers use APIs built by backend developers. Maybe the backend developers from China, okay, maybe front-end developers from India, and maybe they are writing everything in Chinese or something, and they don't understanding here how they will communicate each other, okay. So those kind of questions, and then how QA testers use Postman or similar tools to test APIs. Okay, that is another question. And the third one is how API facilitate communication between different services within a company. That is another question. How API, like for example, restaurant, consider restaurant is a big company. Inside restaurant, we have multiple services, right? So how each and everything will be communicated easily. Okay, that is the next thing. And APIs as the contract between different teams. How API will be the contract between different teams. How? For example, I'm just giving example for this. There's an API which is expecting total 5 fields. First 3 fields are mandatory and second 2 fields are optional. And so why it is a contract between two services, right? So first service, right, it is always expect 5 fields, and second service always sends 10 fields. Then what will happen? There is a mismatch. So that API will fail. That's why there should be a contract between these two saying like always you send format in JSON format. I need 5 fields and the field name should be like this is the field 1, field 2, field 3, field 4, field 5. Field 1 should have field 1 should have 5 characters, field 2 should have 10 characters, field 3 should have 18 characters. So those kind of options will be given by, I mean, while developing APIs, there will be like multiple considerations should be taken care. It's, you can call it as the rules. Okay, that we call it as API spec document. Okay, remember the word API spec documents and nothing but where you will have all the details about that particular API, each and everything from scratch to finish. Okay, just try to Google or ask ChatGPT, have some discussion with ChatGPT on these 4 questions, so you will be understanding easily what is an API. Any questions we will discuss in tomorrow's session. Okay, today what you have to remember, there is something called API and there is something called different methods we have like get posting methods, and you can connect different services using API. And if you still you have time, right, just how I can use OpenAI in my mobile application, or you can search for how I can use Google API in my mobile application. And today's bonus tip, and Google recently released for Studio, Google Studio. Okay, another suggestion what I will give, right? Until you complete your academics, don't use AI much. Okay, you can use whenever it's required. Maybe you are unable to do couple of things, and you can use AI. That's not an issue. But if you use AI now itself with 100% for everything to complete your essays, to complete your everything, right? That you don't remember anything at the end of the day. Okay, you always rely on some AI tool. Okay, maybe you can try, you can create applications using AI, you can create a website using AI. That's not the case. But while creating, before that, you should understand. Okay, this is what it is doing, and this is what we can do with the AI. That you should remember. At the same time, you should learn. You should know how to code. Okay. Okay, Lokit, any questions for today?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay. I will try to upload all these recordings by end of the day. Maybe I'm saying the same thing, but it's not happening. But I'll try to complete that. Okay. Okay. Have a great day. We'll meet again tomorrow at the same time. Thank you.
Okay, sir.